All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a discussion on All Elite Wrestling's women's division. Today, I am joined by my girlfriend, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing on this lovely evening?
I'm good.
That is really good to hear. So, Sarah really wanted to join me on this because she was really interested in the topic. And as a lot of you may have seen on the last video that I did about this, that we're not a big fan of the women's division in All Elite Wrestling. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's the women are amazing. How they're using the women, not so much.
Yeah, it's really tough because AEW has done so well besides they have done so well besides the women's division. That's really been the thing that I think we both would agree has
Oh,
been
yeah,
bugging us.
definitely. Because, like, they put out some amazing content and matches with the men and the tag teams and, like, utilizing them well. It's just their women, they've fallen flat from what they offered.
Absolutely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this in a couple different directions. First, I want us to go over the roster, and we can talk about the roster that they have because I think their roster is actually pretty damn good. Which I know, Sarah, I think you would agree with, wouldn't you?
Yeah, they have some pretty amazing women in their
Yeah,
roster
they
that they
do.
need to use.
Definitely. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about ways that we think the division could be improved. So first off, let's take a look at the AEW roster. So I'm going to go down the roster, and we can talk about each one by one. Sarah, I know since you don't watch Dark that you don't know about a lot of these women, which is fine. Again, because most of these women are only featured on Dark.
Yeah, which is upsetting because like they're featured on TV. I would know about them more and maybe be more invested to watch Dark in them.
Absolutely. So, first off, is Abaddon the living dead girl? She is currently 4-1 in singles. Um, Abaddon, I think you and I will both agree, has a really cool look. Um, but we've seen her
She
like
scares me.
once on Dynamite.
Yeah. Like she definitely has like a look that like when I saw her I was slightly terrified of, which is like that's awesome to have that like reaction because like that's what her character should be. But only seeing her once and then only slightly hearing about her kind of is ruining the effect of like them capitalizing on the fact that she is terrifying to look at.
Absolutely. Also, if you are watching this on the stream, which, you know, I'm sure not many people are because this is a small channel, but if you are, feel free to ask questions, dick around with us while we talk about the thing that keeps us up at night. So next we're going to talk about, it keeps you up at night thinking about AW's women's division.
Oh yeah, all the time.
All right. So next we have Allie, former who is no longer listed as the bunny on here, which she used to be listed as.
No, now she's one of the Nightmare Sisters, remember? Wait, I
Yeah.
am right about that, right?
Yes. I know you are not a big fan of Allie.
I see she has the talent. I just her when she was the bunny and kind of even now her just gimmick just it just rubs me the wrong way. I just don't vibe with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I didn't really see any of her work in TNA where I know that she was a uber babyface, but now I
She's a
just
baby face.
oh, she was a huge babyface. Like people called her like TNA's Bailey. She was like that much of a babyface that like everyone just
I don't
loved.
I don't see it. Like I
Yeah,
kind
well,
of can,
she's
but like,
very different now.
huh,
Isn't that very interesting?
it is because that's so. It's I can't picture that to what I know her as now. It's like her as a baby face, and it's like, no, you're lying.
So next we have the star of the show, Anna Jay, who is now probably in the Dark Order. For almost
It's the
it seems like no reason.
magician.
You love the magician.
I know that's not her gimmick. I know she's probably not the magician, but when she first came out, when I first saw her, my immediate reaction was, she's a magician. And I can't think of her as anything else.
Well, that
But
is fantastic. All right. Well, the next,
talent.
yeah, she does have talent. I believe she's like one of the first people that came from the Nightmare family factory, whatever they're calling their training
Wrestling
facility,
school.
their wrestling school. That's the word for it. Next, we have Awesome Kong. We have not. I don't think it's been on since you and I saw her get written off television at that episode of Dynamite we went to in January.
Oh yeah.
I think she was written
I
off
don't
to
think she
film
has.
Glow. She was written off, I think, to film the final. I don't know if it's final season, but the next season of Glow.
Possibly.
Well, no, it's
I
not.
can't
It's not
remember when that
possibly.
came.
That's
Oh,
why she's written off.
oh, I thought Glow was over though. By that point.
No, I think there's one more season.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. That's a whole other topic. I digress.
Next is one of your favorites in the AEW Women's Division is Big Swole.
Freaking love her. I will admit, at first, I didn't get her character. And then she had that fire promo against Britt Baker when she like flashed her wedding ring and I died and I absolutely fell in love with her. And she's amazing on the mic and in the ring. And I just love her. She is so now one of my favorites. And she's so good.
Yeah, I think she is really good. She's really started to just connect. Hard to say with the audience since there's not an audience, but she's really started to connect with people, which I think is really exciting.
Oh yeah.
Big Swole, we saw her fight Nyla Rose at the episode of Dynamite, and that match, like there was almost no like. I don't know. We didn't really care about either of them, but both of those women, we'll get to Nyla Rose in a little bit. Both of them are pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah. I will say I enjoyed that match.
Yeah. All right.
But it wasn't like, ooh.
Next, we have someone who I think we're going to talk a lot about. Someone who I didn't even realize hasn't wrestled a singles match this year, but is 6-1 in tag team wrestling. It is the chief brand officer, Brandy Rhodes. Also, as some people are calling her, Brandy McMahon, or Stephanie Rhodes.
So my problem is though, I love Brandy as a person. I think what she is doing and how she's trailblazing in the career that she is as the woman she is, I think she is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Currently and in the past, what she's done with her character, Brandy Rhodes, I haven't liked. I liked her for a little bit, like after they got rid of the Nightmare Collective.
Mm-hmm.
And before she became the Nightmare Sister, I loved her in that like manager role and wife of Cody. And I loved that she was like that strong, badass woman without really like being a wrestler, but still proving her worth and stuff. And I loved her in that. But then when she's pushed herself more into like being a wrestler, I think it just rubs the wrong way with a lot of people.
Absolutely. And, I think it's one thing with Cody because Cody, and I'm not trying to make this about, gender because it's not, but Cody, the reason why I think, and people still complain a ton about Cody, But I think, and we do too. I know you. Every single time he has a match now, you're just like, I want him to lose. Like you get mad. Like he'll be up against someone, you'll be like, fucking shit, he didn't lose. Just a reminder, Sarah, no spoilers here for what we know about next week. But
you spoiled it for me.
you said okay with it. I asked you. But anyways, I think with Cody, like people are okay with it because he's proven himself as a wrestler, which is like good. And I think Brandy, she's kind of came out of nowhere starting wrestling a lot, and she's kind of pushing herself over everyone in the division. Like I don't like that she's at the forefront of like every single thing. I think the AEW heels was like it was a nice idea, but like I don't know. I don't really like AEW heels the way they've and I understand why they gave it a price, because otherwise you would have a lot of trolls at all of their events. And yes, people will say there'll be trolls no matter what. Yes, but it's gonna minimize the amount of trolls.
Yes. The one thing I will say about AEW heels, so on Twitter, I'm very selective of who I have like tweet notifications on. And I thought, oh, it'll be cool. They'll give updates. They'll give really cool things. But what AEW Heel's Twitter account was just doing was just retweeting every other women's wrestler's retweets, which that's cool in a sense to like bring more attention to like some of their lesser known females. But when it's every single tweet that one of their female wrestlers tweets, it gets old real fast. And they don't put out really any of their own content on that Twitter. It's just a bunch of just retweets constantly.
No, they really don't. And we'll get more into that in a little bit. Next, we are going to talk about the person who I think has been one of the standouts of the AEW women's division, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Love her.
She started out really struggling. She sucked as a babyface. She was not a good babyface. And then now as a heel, she's been fucking fantastic. And one thing I really like about AEW is that they're letting their injured wrestlers still be a part of storylines. It's great.
Except for one.
You're talking about
Alien.
Yeah, but the thing, well, you can't do it for everyone. But the thing is, like, they also don't know when she's coming back. But Britt Baker has been building up this story with Big Swole, and I'm so excited for hopefully their match at All Out.
Oh, it's gonna be so good if they allow it to have time.
Like, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, it'll be great.
Oh yeah.
Next, I'm gonna skip some of the people who just haven't really been around in a while. They released a bunch of British wrestlers, but not their Japanese wrestlers, which it's like, okay, like Emi Sakura.
B.
Yeah, but like you understand that.
I understand it. Like I get it. She has like another like thing to fall back on. I understand. I'm still sad, but I understand.
Yeah. Hikaru Shida.
Well, I know how you feel about her.
I think she's the best.
You're slightly in love with her. It's all good. We all know it's okay.
I'm not. What?
It's okay to admit you're.
All right, we're going to talk about wrestlers who we have crushes on, huh? We're going to do that,
nope.
huh?
Nope.
Uh-huh. No, I figured you would rather not talk about it.
She is amazing. And she's able to get like crowds, well, in this instance, wrestling crowds around her, and like she always puts on a show in the ring.
So All Elite
it always
Wrestling,
seems like no matter who she's wrestling.
So All Elite Wrestling, like their official account, put a comment. Good to note. We'll pass that on to the heels team. I think if you are listening, AEW, I think what we want to say, the big thing we want to say to you, which why the fuck you found this is beyond us. But we love the women you have. It's amazing.
Your women are amazing.
I think I guess we'll just get to the big points because we don't know how long you're going to stay on here. If you're still on here, is number one. The big things that we'll say is keep giving us more of the women. Let us get to know them more. And then in terms of social media, make them feel important. And don't just advertise them as your women. Advertise them as your superstars, your wrestlers. That's one thing I think WWE, though they have flaws, their social media team has really done a great job. Is like it's not pushed as our women; they're part of our family. They're just part of the roster. But that's great that you're always listening to everyone. I'm still flabbergasted that you guys are just even on here. But I think the thing that you and I are probably most frustrated with is that we have these storylines that we're very interested in, and we're just not getting them. Like,
no.
And we have people like, I think the AEW women's tournament was phenomenal. But the problem is it's just not getting eyes. And I think one thing
it's not getting pushed.
It's not, and it's getting pushed on social media. But the problem is I think everyone in there,
but it gets lost.
But also in people's minds, because Dynamite is the flagship show, we have it in our minds that, all right, we have it in our minds that like, okay, because it's on YouTube, it's not as important. Oh my gosh, they've been in chat for a while. Oh my gosh, this is just, but feel free to just like chat. If you have any questions for us, what we think, feel free to like reach out to us. Our email that we share is timbateswrestling@gmail.com. We'd be happy to give more of our specific opinions. But I think for the tournament, we want people to know it's important because we know you guys think it's important, but everyone else doesn't. I think, Sari, one of your favorite things that you have seen is you've loved like the team of Anna Jay and Tainara Conti. You loved that.
Yes. I loved them. Watching that match, like I kind of knew what the outcome was going to be, sort of, but the way they worked together and worked off of each other was like it was like a standout because like in my mind, I don't think those two women had ever worked together before in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And that's to my knowledge. But the way that they worked together, they had such great chemistry. They made an amazing team. And I felt like it was missing something with the fact that not a lot of people got to see them.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of eyes on them. And that's just like, it's not disheartening, but it's like almost heartbreaking in a sense. I'm like, these two women are phenomenal, but they're not getting seen in the way I think that they should be, which is I think they should be seen on national TV.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about, I'm really excited that they're putting the finale on television. What concerns me, I think what concerns you is that it's going to be Brandy Rose and Allie that win. But what concerns me more than that is that it's going to be like, I know it's not going to happen because number one, it's already been filmed, but it would be so cool if like that was the women's main event or even the opener, like give it like 15 minutes, like Diamante and
don't put it in the middle.
I think they are just like the AEW. I trust your tag team wrestling more than anything. Make your women's tag team wrestling a staple. It's okay if it doesn't have to be the women's championship that is shown as much. Just make it the women that are shown a lot. And I also don't get rid of Dark because I've seen people say get rid of Dark. And I don't think so because number one, it's giving people who don't do TV very often a chance to practice. But I think the best thing about about AEW is we're getting to see people given a chance that we haven't. Like, take for instance Sammy Guevara. Sarah, had you ever heard of Sammy Guevara before All Elite Wrestling?
No.
Sarah, who is currently your number one favorite wrestler in the entire world?
Sammy Guevara.
Absolutely.
I love him.
And it probably doesn't hurt the fact that like we got to meet him when we went to Dynamite, but
I loved him before we got to meet him. I fell in love with him on the match that I watched with him versus Kip Sabian. Their match, I fell in love with both of them watching their match. And then ever since that, I was hooked.
yeah. So going back to just what we were talking about, like Hikaru Shida, I think the reason why for me, it was the difference. But so Riho didn't just connect with me, and I don't know why, but there was just some disconnect. But Hikaru Shida just, for me, she has what everyone says Asuka has. I've never really seen Asuka, but for me, Hikaru Shida has what they say Asuka has. She has that drive, and I don't know why, but it translates at least to the American audience. And oh my gosh, like besides Riho, I think you will agree that both the AEW's women's champions have been great picks.
Yes.
I think the number one most improved wrestler since AEW has started has been Nyla Rose.
She has come into her own, and it's been a beautiful thing to be able to see and watch, and just like watch her like evolve into this truly accepting, and like you can see like in her like accepting, not that she wasn't comfortable in her skin, but being comfortable in this now role that she's been thrust into the spotlight, and like fully like truly in a spotlight, and she's come to like accept it and be comfortable in herself and be comfortable in this role that she is now, people have been putting her in, and
It's
as a
not
wrestler,
easy.
like seeing it's not at all, and she has done so well for the positions that she has been put in,
And
and
one thing I
it's
do want to
awesome.
commend AEW with is I am very, very just impressed by the way that they have, I guess, not marketed Nyla Rose. Is, companies like I'm not gonna tiptoe over this. Nyla Rose is like the first prominent transgender wrestler on American television, at least that I know of. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But like, and the cool thing about it is I didn't find out about it from AEW. I found out about it from like just a wrestling news source. Someone like WWE would have been like, "Look at our transgender wrestler. Like, look at how great it is." And they would have been doing it in a nice way to like promote it. But AEW has been like, "No, she's a women's wrestler. She's a badass women's
Which is
wrestler."
huge, and just like that's a
But
huge thing for a lot of people in that community.
it's phenomenal, and I am so just pleased with that being that way. Nyla Rose is a freaking trailblazer. Don't be a dick. Okay, she's a female. I get so mad at social media sometimes just seeing that. But AEW, I think
got
we'll
so
agree.
mad at
AEW's
Dynamite.
social media is pretty impressive, like in the first
Yeah,
place. But like they've done a good job highlighting what needs to be highlighted in terms of what the wrestlers are, but also not coming off too like corporate.
yeah.
So
I also will say
go
I
ahead.
enjoy how we were talking about just social media. I enjoy how TNT social media gets involved sometimes, and
Oh
it just makes
yeah,
me chuckle. It's
yeah. No,
so
TNT's
nice.
really embraced AEW. All right,
Yeah,
so
and that's nice to see.
I'm gonna pick out some of the other people in the division that I think have really been standouts. Chris Statlander. We haven't gotten to, unfortunately, she got injured pretty damn quick, but Chris Statlander has been super impressive. I know you're kind of a fan of the alien gimmick, not a huge fan.
I get it, but I don't. It's not that I'm not a huge fan. It's just like sometimes it doesn't come across to me, and it doesn't come across in the ring.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to have them coincide in my mind.
And then the person who I think most recently you have fallen in love with, you might not know you've fallen in love with this person, but watching it together every week, I know you have, is the bad girl Penelope Ford.
I holy fully admit that I do love her. And I just love her sassy, I don't give a fuck attitude.
Totally.
And I love it so much.
So we've talked about just the individual wrestlers, but one thing I covered in my previous video was they can improve on it. And so I kind of want us to just go over a game plan that, say, like Tony Khan called us, or someone called us and said, like, hey, Tim, Sara, the fate of All Elite Wrestling is your hands. How would you fix the
too
AW's
much
women's
pressure.
division? I would say, first of all, don't announce you're trying to fix it. WWE did that with the Give Divas a Chance, and that was really cool. But I feel like that's a once in a lifetime thing. You got to just gradually do it. And I understand that you guys have some issues right now with just getting women into the country or travel, which is understandable. But give us more than just a women's segment. Give us multiple women's matches. I would say the good thing would be, big thing to be, give us like a 10-minute women's match a night, and then 2 to 3 backstage segments. I know that's a little ambitious because you guys have the thing I love about AEW, so many storylines going on. I think one thing maybe is understand that maybe you don't have to do every storyline every week.
Pace it.
Even maybe do some storylines on Dark.
So I was gonna ask this question, not to stop the tangent real quick. Is there like a set thing with Dark? If you win so many matches on Dark, you go up to Dynamite? Or is
so
Dark
I don't think it's
I
don't think Dark's like
story just
so Dark is big. So like Dark is a lot like WWE Main Event, which is basically used to develop talent and give it's basically dark matches but televised, and on YouTube. A lot of them, it's chances for wrestlers who aren't signed to get a chance to prove themselves. Like people like Kenzie Page have been on there like almost every week, which has been cool. I do like that they've been consistently using people. It's given people a chance to get to know each other. And they'll probably be like the first people to like get signed if they're looking to sign some unknown people. But it's not like a thing where you get called up. But like you're not as often, you're not going to see like the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or something. I do think something for Dark, if you want to get more people to watch Dark, is maybe do have like you back a while ago.
But
like
they had Moxley. Moxley was on Dark.
Yeah, but that was at the start of it. That was when they were trying to just get.
No, that was just recently.
Oh really?
I thought he was just.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. But like, give us a match that we'd be excited for. Like, I don't know. Give us like you guys gave us. I think it was Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela. That like got a fuck ton of buzz. Give us like some women's matches that are like really exciting. Give us some more. Give us some more of the women. You can give us storylines on Dark and maybe give us highlights on Dynamite. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would definitely say like somehow utilize Dark more in Dynamite instead of just promoting it like, oh yeah, don't forget Dark, but like using it as a way to like, oh, this happened and now this is happening here. So people are like, oh, well, if I want to know what's going to happen next, maybe I should watch Dark to see if anything's going to happen that's going to lead into Dynamite. And that'll make people want to watch it more. But also, though, just like in their women in general, like not even just having spots with the title belt, like, or just like Hikaru or whoever's holding the women's belt in general, having like time on Dynamite, but also just having like other women's matches, and then allow the women who you know are good talkers, give them a slot to talk. Allow your women to have amazing promos. Like one of your women has to be phenomenal at promos that we haven't gotten to see. Or Big Swole is amazing. Brit's amazing. Like, give them the slot, like, give them a time to speak that maybe, like, that you've given MJF time. Like,
Yeah.
allow the women who can talk to talk, because as you've learned from MJF, people love a good talker. And then if they can back it up with
And that's what
wrestling,
Britt's been doing.
it's even better. Yeah. But they need to give her the same amount of, like, they need to at least give someone the same amount of time.
And I understand that some of this might not be able to be changed until like after All Out, because you can't just like drop storylines. But maybe after All Out, instead of having like, and I understand it's going to mean less of the men are going to get exposure. And I understand that, but it's about equality.
But it means more of your women are going to get exposure. And I think that's the thing that people need to think about. Yes, it's less of the men, but it means more of the women.
And I'm going to be honest, AEW fans, talk about the people who are fans, not the internet trolls that, you know, get mad every time WWE signs a, you know, WWE woman. Also, AEW, if you're still listening, I am fine with you signing WWE people. You're doing it because they're available and it's fine. Don't listen to what people are saying. I'm sure you're not, because you guys are big boys.
And they have the talent.
And they do have the talent. Like, I think everyone will admit the Cameron appearance was just a little like, but like she didn't do any harm. It was funny. It worked.
Oh no, I enjoyed her in that match.
You know, it worked. And it was a one-off appearance, probably. They're not giving her the title immediately. Like, it worked. Like, I remember when she came on the screen.
That would be a great little
Cameron. But hey, she proved she's improved, you know, good for her. She proved people wrong. She didn't pin the person upside down.
She also proved you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
move on from it and still do things, which is huge.
Yeah. One big thing I do want to say really quickly that we've talked about, get a new title.
Oh, their title annoys me. Especially with that, I think they just posted the photo, because I know I shared it to you.
Yeah.
Where they have
No, I sent that to you.
Oh, you sent that to me. Where they have all of their titles lined up.
I'm going to pull it up.
There's just the women's belt. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Give me a second to put it up. But like, yeah, AEW recently, they posted a photo. They posted a photo of all of their belts together. Let me see if I can find it. But they posted a photo of all of their belts together, which, you know, first of all, just as a photo, it was really, really cool. But it really showcased the fact that the belt looks really small. And I think I understand that, like, in like Japanese wrestling, like that's kind of a thing. Oops, I opened the wrong thing.
But when you're in America, that's not how it is, especially when people are looking over at Impact's women's division. They're not going to women's belt. And then you have all of WWE's women's belts are almost equivalent in size to their men's and are very similar style to their men's. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you see it?
And I get it might have been staged. Yeah, I can see it. And I get it might have been staged in this way, but also though, the way that it's staged, it literally makes their women's division's belt not seem as important as their men's. And I think that's the other thing that came across in that photo. It's like, oh, look at the men's belts. Oh, look at that little baby belt.
And like, I think we'll admit, AEW, like, let's give them credit where credit's due. They had no one. Their belts are beautiful, but they had no one to sign when they started. Like, they had Britt, but like WWE signed fucking everybody. And I'm not saying the women that they signed like weren't good, but like they just weren't as experienced. And I think we're at the point now, like a year and a half in, where like, oh, these women actually seem like they finally, like, they have fucking amazing talent. But, you know, it's give them a chance to be used. One thing I will say I will say, just do a little bit more. And I'm maybe they have, and I just haven't seen it. Talk to your fans. Be like, hey, fans, like I want to know like what you like. And, you know, if at the end of the day they say we don't want women's wrestling, then I guess, you know, we've been proven wrong. But like, I don't think that's what people are going to say. I would even be fine with intergender wrestling. I know a lot of companies are against that. I know people say it's not realistic, but like, I don't know. To me, that's as equal you can get.
In some instances, I could see, depending on the stature of the man and the stature of the woman, how it might not be possible.
Like Big Swole versus Brian Cage, but even then, like.
But like putting Big Swole versus Kip Sabian or Sammy Guevara,
and don't just do it as a comedy thing. Don't do like
no,
Big
like
Swole
make
versus
them
Peter
have a
Avalon.
match.
Like let them have a match.
Like it could work if you do it right and you do it well.
Y'all know how cool it would be for the Open Challenge to just, you know, TNT Open Challenge, outwalk Hikaru Shida fighting Cody Rhodes for the TNT title. She doesn't even have to win. Yes, people will bitch about it, but like that'd be fucking cool.
Well, so here's my thing with the TNT title belt. And I get it that it's Cody that has it and it's like seen as like the men's belt, but at the same time though, who's to say that a woman couldn't win it? Like it doesn't say this is the men's TNT title belt. It just is the TNT championship belt. That's all it is. And last time I checked, their women are a part of TNT.
Yes.
Because they're a part of Dynamite and AEW. Just saying.
Now, one thing I think could work for AEW is if maybe they wanted a chance. So they're supposed to get a second show. Like, maybe give them more priority on the second show.
Depends on when the second show is, though, time-wise. Because you don't want to give them a sucky slot.
No. But, like, if you gave them, like, oh, that way you could give people, like, maybe, like, lower card storylines. I guess, like, you know, match between, like, Anna Jay and Abaddon. And you made that, like, a thing that mattered. And maybe put the grudge match on Dynamite.
Yeah, but that also could mean for the second show, put some of maybe your like not lesser men
experienced,
maybe some of like lesser experienced men segments that took up time on Dynamite, that took away from your women's division having time on Dynamite, onto that second show, where you could still have like almost not equal, because I know there's a lot of like times on storylines that like showing the men and women equally isn't gonna be possible just because of how storylines progress and who's in the storylines and what the storylines are going to eventually go to. That it's not gonna be possible to have equal like showing in terms of time slots on Dynamite. But if you get the second show and you utilize it in a way where that's kind of like you can not necessarily push things to it, but have it almost be like, okay, this is not a second brand like how WWE has SmackDown and Raw and NXT, but don't like label it as like a separate, don't give it a different name, but like have it has equal footing. That way you can like push some things off, some of like the lesser comedy matches maybe, or like building matches possibly.
Yeah. So I think we can probably start to wrap this up, and I want to wrap this up with you and I both giving our biggest plus for the women's division, and then our biggest needed for improvement. Sarah, I'm going to allow you to start with giving your biggest. We're going to end on positive notes, so give your first need for improvement.
You need to give them more time, and not just wrestling. Like not just giving them more time in terms of like having like 5-10-minute matches instead of like 2-3-minute matches, like having their matches be longer, but also allow them to talk more, allow them to have more promo moments, more like moments where they're just like almost like they're one and done, where like they come out at the end, they say ha, mic drop, and they beat the crap out of whoever's in the ring and then they leave. Give them more badass moments that like a man would have.
Yeah.
Like that's
for me, I would just say my biggest need for improvement is let us know who they are. And I think that kind of goes with yours.
Yeah.
For, a lot of the people, we at least know who they are, at least just from some of their exposure, like Eddie Kingston. We knew who he is, even though, like, I think we really knew who he was because of his promo he gave before the match. But,
Love that.
like, let us know who they are. Give them promo packages. Give them, like, you guys, the AEW, like, video packages that they put together are really good.
They are amazing.
Give them to, I would love to know more about Hikaru Shida. Let me know more about my champ. Let me know more about who Abaddon is. What's her backstory? Why is she dead? Why is she wanting to eat my brains? Tell me what makes Anna Jay the star of the show. Tell me why she's in the Dark Order all of a sudden. Let me know what makes people like Big Swole Tick, which they have for Big Swole, but give me their backstories. Make us like just fucking love them. Give me those types of matches that WWE at least I used to give us, like from NXT. All right,
Yeah.
biggest really quick before we do that, I want to ask you a question. So, as a woman who watches wrestling, what do you feel like the women and women's fans feel important to AEW?
I think like that's kind of what they're trying to do in terms of with AEW heels, which like the concept of it's cool. Getting like they get to have like little Zoom meetings and they get to talk to some of the wrestlers one-on-one, which is cool.
And you'd want to be involved in if
in,
you weren't for the fact that you're paying off student loans and $50 is tough to come by.
Yeah, but it's cool. But then at the same time, though, another part of me is like, but it shouldn't have been necessary because we should already be able to know who these women are based on being on TV and letting them talk. I will say, I do think that they care, and I know that they care about their women. They are trying. It's not being executed in a sense, but they do care. I think like it's hard. Like the show, I was one of very few women. Not like there wasn't like a lot of us, but we were
I will
not.
say you're one of very few women, but also not compared to the other shows we've been to. I would say there are more women's fans at Dynamite than there were when we've been to WWE shows.
There were, and I will say they were. It was a lot.
It was very diverse too.
It was, and it was a lot friendlier. It was of a crowd than like towards like you didn't get the. I didn't get the feeling of I was like prey. And like I'm just like being stared at, like, oh, it's a woman. Like you didn't get that from it, and I think that's because AEW has like drawn people out from indies.
Mm.
So I think they care, and I think they're trying. It's just not executing well.
Yeah.
In like that sense.
Yeah. All right. So positive. I'll go first with my positive. You're giving people a chance. I don't feel like any wrestler has just been forgotten about who you've signed. And I think when you sign someone, it's to say we're going to give them something to do. You don't really have anyone that just isn't doing crap. You have people like Shanna, who I'm pretty sure is just like stuck out of the country, which is like, that's understandable. But I think it's really cool that I think the pool of AEW women that they have is fucking ginormous. With like all the people they have on Dark in their tournament. But like, I don't know. I think it'd be really cool if one night of Dynamite. Okay, so you guys have this 1 hour special Dynamite. If you're still listening, AEW, here's an idea. You guys have this 1 hour special Dynamite coming up that is an extra add-on Dynamite. What if you made it an all-women show? What if you made that 1 hour Dynamite, or even the 2 hour Dynamite, and push them into the 1 hour? But like, you know, make that 1 hour Dynamite special. Make that Dynamite be like, okay, this is the fucking women's division. And like, you know, advertise these matches in advance. Have the women like on social media being like, I want to be on this because this is special to me. Make it like a special thing. Like you had Tag Team Appreciation Night. Don't do Women's Appreciation Night because that sounds a little degrading. But like, I would say call it Evolution, but you probably can't.
Probably trademarked, copyrighted. Can't do that.
Yeah. And I would call it Revolution, but you guys have already used that as well. I don't know. Call it like something fierce, like Fist, or like I don't know, like Battle Claws or something. I don't know. Don't use my name, but like make it feel cool. Like, wouldn't it be so cool to just have an episode of Dynamite that was like all women?
Yeah.
And that's your perfect opportunity to do it. You have an extra hour that you can do that on. And, you know, use that wisely. If you need any more suggestions, you know where to email us or find us. But, like, I think it's there. You have the talent. But just give us more of it. And I think the thing that you do have is you have us hungry. You're not having us say, oh, fuck, no more women's matches. Those are fucking awful. You have us wanting them. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be fucking cool to see like a Iron Women match between like Hikaru Shida and like Britt Baker. Or like, you know, a Falls Count Anywhere match with like Nyla Rose
Diamante.
And Diamante. You fucking love Diamante.
I will say one of my biggest positives with AEW in general is they have given me some of my favorite female wrestlers.
Male too.
Male too. But like female wrestlers, like one of my all-time favorite female wrestlers, I saw her at
Chelsea Green. Please
Chelsea
figure
Green.
out a way to get Chelsea Green.
Yes, please. But like the way that they use them, and that's the thing that I think bugs me, is I've seen them use their women and they can make amazing matches. It's just lately it's fallen off the wayside. But I think my biggest positive with AEW's women's division is that when they use their women, they're using them for the most part, when they have them in storylines and they're in concrete storylines, they add on to those storylines. They make you care about those storylines. They make those storylines matter when they have them and they utilize them.
100%. So I think wrapping things up, just make sure that we know that they're important. You don't need to make them the main event every night. You don't need to over push them. We just want to know that you care about them as much as we do. And we know it's hard to 2 hours. Like, I know we always talk about, like, I don't know. I feel like AEW could actually benefit from a third hour. You might lose viewers, but like, I feel like you guys actually have the storytelling that I like fucking trust. And also when you give us random matches, those random matches are even like, they're still like good. We're not getting like No Way Jose versus like Mojo Rawley.
Sometimes the random matches go into bigger storylines because people latch on to those matches and like, that was so good, I want more. And then they go, okay, here you go. We're going to water your
really quickly, one thing I want to say, which Sarah, you can start making the plea. I do not see either Ivelisse or Diamante on their official roster.
What? No. Please, if anyone from AEW is watching this, please sign both of them. Please. please, please. If they win, which I really hope they win, I want them to win. I want to be proven wrong. I want my first thing about
the Royal
tag.
teasing us that it's going to go the way we think it is, and then giving us what we actually want works. WWE does it like every year with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the runner-up of like every Royal Rumble for like the past 4 years, and it still fucking works.
Literally the best thing that happened, and like WWE actually capitalized it.
All right, wait, we have a question from AEW. Who are the top 5 women's athletes we should sign? Number 1,
Diamante.
Number 2,
Evilise.
So number 3, I don't know if this is possible, but Tessa Blanchard would be a game changer.
She would be, but she has not the greatest personality.
No, she doesn't. But also, like,
but she has talent, and it's so frustrating.
She's so talented. And also, but I can't speak of this because I'm just hearing from behind the scenes. People like to bitch. And then number 4, it's not possible right now, but Chelsea Green.
Please. And then if you do sign her and have her come in, can you have her turn on Britt Baker? Because those two in a storyline against each other would be beautiful.
And I think number 5, I would say Tainara Conti. Say what you will about her being an ex-WWE person, but she's fucking great.
She is an amazing athlete. Like, absolutely. Should definitely be signed.
One person I would say, there are personal issues right now, but I think a special 6th would be Priscilla Kelly. I understand the stuff going on with her and Darby Allin. So like, I know that that's probably, an awkward thing, but mm-hmm. I wanted to include her, but so like, it's out there that I think she's incredible.
A virtuoso.
Yeah. Deanna Purrazzo would have been really cool.
I didn't think she was signed with Impact yet. I thought she was just.
She might not. And if you could get do Jordan Grace.
Oh,
could you imagine a Jordan Grace Nyla Rose match?
Can I have that? Can someone make that? I want that. Now.
But last few just minutes. Great job on the tag team tournament.
Yes.
It really has felt important in our eyes. Just make the finale feel worth it. Do what they did with the Mae Young Classic. All right. Any final thoughts there before we go offline?
Please just give them more time to talk, not just wrestle.
Yeah. I think, we have young kids who
and I love them all.
Like her nephew is what? He's 5?
No.
He's 6.
He's 6.
Yeah. He loves watching wrestling. But I think like his mom, he wants to see like good role models. And it's really cool for him to see women because he knows, they're as important as men. Like, mm-hmm. when Sarah and I have kids one day, we want to be able to watch it with our son or daughter and be proud to watch it. It's going to be on in our mm-hmm. house anyway. We want it to be good for them.
Definitely.
We're going to be great parents when we're parents.
Of course.
We are working on 2 of the athletes you've mentioned. Fuck yes.
Please let it be the first 2 I mentioned.
I will give you credit. You're currently like I think you might be the only person watching this because it says like we have 1 person. The fact that you randomly found this stream is impressive. And if you want any more of our feedback on AEW in general, you can,
We love you guys. We do love AEW.
We would love to help. If you actually need, we understand if you don't. But like I said, timbateswrestling@gmail.com. It'll get to both of us. But overall, AEW is the best. And this isn't me like just like kissing up the ass because like we know you're on there. I've said this before. You're the best wrestling division in the world. I've been called a mark. All my AEW videos get mainly dislikes because it's people getting mad at me because I'm all up in AEW's ass. And it's like, okay, but can you really prove to me that WWE is doing better? But like AEW is so much fun. It's what I wanted. If AEW doesn't exist, I probably wouldn't be watching wrestling anymore.
Yeah, it's been very hard to turn on Raw and stay invested in Raw. I will say AEW
yes,
every night.
you are the one
I
person.
stay
Good
invested.
job. But
I stay invested in AEW.
But it's what we're invested in, and also fantastic job in the pandemic. Like the way you've handled everything, incredible job. Daly's place is the best place for. I want to go to a show there at some point. That'd be so.
It
cool.
looks so pretty. It's a weird thing to say, but it looks so pretty.
It looks fucking awesome. But just fix the women's division, and no one can disagree that you're the best.
Be there at night because that's so cool to me.
Yeah. But yeah, just fix that, and we'll be golden.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I think we're gonna sign off now. AEW, thank you for watching. We
thank
confused.
We Very, are, but happy, but confused.
We are glad that you you watch a lot of the live streams and listen to fan feedback. I'm glad that we are the lifeblood of AEW. Again, if you ever need fan, you can text us or call us at any time. But
I have a full-time job. Please don't. My clients might be very confused.
It'll get to
why I run out the room.
But but like just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll be great. Thank you for AEW for watching. If anyone else is watching, I'm sorry. But
we didn't
have an amazing night. Sarah, thank you for joining me. I will see you when I text you in like 30 seconds. Okay. I thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.